The entire tech floor went silent. Monitors blacked out, files vanished, and alarms rang in the server room. The CEO slammed his fist on the table, yelling for answers. No one knew what to do. Then, from the corner, a quiet voice spoke. "I can try something." Everyone turned to see the janitor's son, just 12 years old, stepping toward the controls. What he did next left the whole company speechless. It was a Monday morning like any other at Skyline Innovations, a fast-growing tech company preparing for its biggest moment yet. The employees were buzzing with energy, all working toward one goal: securing a massive investor deal that could change everything. The office was alive with ringing phones, tapping keyboards, and the low hum of excitement. Mr. Bradley, the company's sharp, no-nonsense CEO, entered the building with confidence, dressed in a dark gray suit, ready to lead his team to victory. He gave a firm nod to everyone as he walked past, checking his watch. The meeting with investors was just 30 minutes away. Presentations were polished, data reports were double-checked, and the team was ready. Suddenly, everything went wrong. With no warning, the office lights flickered, and every single computer screen froze before turning completely black. A heavy silence fell across the floor. Then came the first shout, "The system's down," followed by a chorus of panic. Files had disappeared, the internal network crashed, and even the phone systems were offline. The IT department rushed to the server room, but nothing worked. The backup systems failed, and no one could access the company's cloud drive. Mr. Bradley's calmness cracked. His voice echoed down the halls. "Get the systems back up. We cannot afford to lose this deal." Astor's people scrambled. Some rebooted their machines again and again, others dialed tech support, but nothing changed. 20 minutes passed. The investor meeting was nearing, and everything the company had worked for was on the verge of slipping away. In the middle of this chaos, no one noticed the small boy quietly standing near the janitor's cart at the end of the hallway. It was Mateo, the 12-year-old son of Mrs. Santos, the cleaning lady. He had been brought along for the day since his school was closed. Curious eyes watched everything around him, but no one paid him any attention yet. His tension continued to rise, and the office remained frozen in digital darkness. A small, calm voice broke through the noise. "I think I can help," said Mateo. Standing near the entrance to the server room, everyone turned, confused. The CEO raised his eyebrows, glancing at the boy, unsure whether to be amused or annoyed. "Who said that?" he asked sharply. Mrs. Santos stepped forward nervously. "That's my son, sir, Mateo." Mr. Bradley looked at the boy, then back at the dozens of employees who were still trying and failing to fix the system. "He's just a kid," someone whispered. "We don't have time for games," another muttered. But with nowhere else to turn, Mr. Bradley sighed and waved the boy over. "All right, kid, show me what you've got." Mateo didn't hesitate. He walked over to a nearby workstation, sat in the chair like he'd done it 1,000 times, and asked, "Can I plug in my USB?" The IT manager hesitated, then gave him a cautious nod. Within seconds, Mateo was navigating the system, typing commands with ease. The room went quiet again. This time in disbelief, he moved through error logs, spotted the corrupted update file, and explained that a loop in the recent patch was causing the crash. Then he opened a notepad and began typing a few lines of code, something simple, but sharp. It was a script he'd written just last week for fun, based on a video he watched online. He launched the program, bypassing the faulty update and directing the system to boot from a safe version stored deep in the server's recovery files. One by one, the monitors around him flickered and came back to life. Gasps echoed across the room. Files reappeared, phones rang again, and the backup system sensed. For a few seconds, nobody said a word. Then the room erupted with applause and stunned laughter. Mr. Bradley stared at the boy, speechless. "Where did you learn to do that?" he finally asked. Mateo just smiled and said, "I love computers. I teach myself after school." The kid no one noticed just saved the entire company. The office was still buzzing with disbelief. Employees stood frozen for a moment, staring at their screens as they flickered back to life, their files intact, systems restored, and panic slowly melting into relief. It took a few seconds for everyone to fully understand what had just happened. A 12-year-old boy had done what an entire team of trained professionals couldn't. Then, like a wave, applause spread across the floor. Smiles broke out. People laughed in shock, some shaking their heads while clapping. The IT manager leaned against the wall, still trying to process it. "He just saved our necks," he said quietly. Mr. Bradley walked toward Mateo, slower this time, no longer the rushed, stressed CEO but someone humbled. He knelt down slightly so he could look the boy in the eyes. "You fixed it," he said, still trying to believe it. "You actually fixed it." Matteo nodded shyly. "The code was stuck in a loop. I just stopped it and reloaded from the safe drive. I saw a guy do it in a video once, so I tried it." The room listened like it was watching a movie. This kid wasn't showing off, he was just sharing what he loved. His mother, Mrs. Santos, stood to the side, covering her mouth with both hands, eyes full of tears. She had always known Matteo was smart, but she never imagined he'd be the reason the company stayed afloat that day. Mr. Bradley looked over at her. "Mrs. Santos, your son just saved this company. We owe him more than we can say." He turned back to Matteo. "Have you ever visited a real computer lab? One where people build systems like this?" Matteo shook his head. "Would you like to?" the CEO asked with a smile. The boy's eyes lit up. "Yes, more than anything." The crowd watched, moved by the moment, not just because the crisis was over, but because they had all witnessed something rare: pure talent, humility, and hope, wrapped in one small, quiet kid who came to the office just to spend the day with his mom. News of what happened at Skyline Innovation spread quickly, first through the office, then across the internet. Staff couldn't stop talking about the young boy who saved the entire company. Some shared the moment on social media, and within a day, local news stations picked it up. 12-year-old boy fixes corporate system failure. The headlines read, but for Matteo, it wasn't about fame. He just wanted to help and do something he loved. The next morning, Mr. Bradley called a special meeting. The entire company gathered in the main hall, where Matteo and his mother, Mrs. Santos, were invited to the front. The CEO took the microphone, his voice filled with pride and respect. "Yesterday, our company faced a total shutdown. No one could fix it, not even our best engineers. But this young man," he said, placing a hand on Matteo's shoulder, "saw a problem and solved it. Not because it was his job, but because he saw a chance to help." The crowd erupted in applause. Then came the real surprise. Mr. Bradley continued, "Today, we're giving Matteo a full scholarship fund for his future education in technology and computer science. And we're also proud to offer Mrs. Santos a full-time staff position with benefits for her years of quiet, dedicated work." The applause turned into a standing ovation. Matteo looked up at his mother, who hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face. She had always believed in his gift, and now the world did, too. After that day, Matteo visited Skyline often, not as a guest, but as a welcome part of the team. Engineers would ask for his input, and he was even invited to join a junior coding mentorship program. But despite all the attention, Matteo stayed humble. He still helped his mom carry bags and clean up. He still played games, watched coding tutorials, and dreamed big. The day Matteo walked into the office, he was just a janitor's son. But the day he walked out, he was something more: quiet hero who reminded everyone that brilliance can come from the most unexpected places. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and show your support. Subscribe to Deep Wounds for more powerful, heart-touching stories that inspire.